Ba-da-bum. Ba-da-bum-bum-bum-bum. Gotta close all these things. I got so many things open. Okay.
Which automaker employs the most hourly workers in the country? Ford. Which
Hey. Hi, friends. Welcome back to Boru Nation. There's so many wonderful things happening every day. The player should be joining us shortly. Today is the 9th of April. Is there a way to break out? Can I get just like a breakout doc of the chat? How do I do that? I don't have my phone with me today. Which I know is like an odd problem, but like, and normally it's not a thing. So like normally I would just have my phone here with the chat sitting there so that I can see whenever somebody says something so that I can respond to you. I can figure out a solution for this. Okay. Push that. The Night 257, thank you so much for the lurk. Welcome. Maximize this. Look at this. Bring the Twitch chat up over here. Ayo! Welcome. Thank you for the lurk, my friend. Okay, are you guys, can you hear me?
Maybe.
Oh, thank goodness. Theater mode? Okay, there we go. I can see the chat now. It's on my screen. Enno, good evening. Welcome.
What's up, team? Sorry, I was just getting my headset.
I'm just happy you're here.
I'm happy I'm here too. It's one of my favorite places to be.
I cried when you missed last week.
No, you didn't.
I did. It's probably on stream and everything. I was showing off my YouTube stats to CJ earlier because ever since oh no! I left my water in the other room. Dang it.
Did somebody just redeem hydration?
No. But I wanted to drink some water, and then I realized that it's in the other room. So I'll get up and get it in a little bit. I've got a new microphone that's running through. What is this? It's called a Focusrite Solo, and so it's an XLR microphone, which is supposed to be higher quality. It's supposed to be staticky less often. I also have direct physical access to the gain control, and for the most part, I've been pretty happy with it.
It sounds good.
That fills me with joy, because one of the things that I've been most dissatisfied with, both with especially the live streams, but then also some of the recordings that I've been doing, is the audio quality of my voice.
In early COVID days, I never did it, but I went down the rabbit hole on what a premium video conferencing setup is. And yeah, it's basically XLR mic and a 5K camera with a hardware card to connect it.
Oh yeah.
Which is not as important when you're streaming because people are usually, you're usually in a small box and something else is taking up the majority of the real estate.
I am, yeah, in a very tiny, tiny box. So 5K is a little bit overkill. But
Yeah, it was 5K, 4K, but like a DSLR
yeah.
camera basically with we need like a hardware converter card.
I actually need to set up, so like you can set up like Twitch community goals. And so far, literally everything that I purchased for the stream has just been out of pocket, with the exception of Baldur's Gate 3, which game was donated by our very own The Knight 257.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. I actually started replaying it in honor mode recently, and it's been a ton of fun. Lost a few runs. Baldur's Gate 3 has heavy overlap with Dungeons and Dragons.
Best game ever?
It's really, really good. You haven't played any Baldur's Gate, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It not only like really excellently captures so much that I love about Dungeons and Dragons, like it's just a good game in and of itself. It's so nice. I want to show off these
one of the
YouTube
things
stats a little
missing
bit.
from my life is like the ability to commit to a game like that. But with my current life with kids and all that, like I'm not going to be happy playing it a half hour a day, which is kind of, some days I get to game much more than that, but it's still unpredictable and it's like half hour chunks. A game like that, I want to sit down for like 4 hours.
Yeah, it's massive. It's massive. It actually has really good like cooperative play. Like the cooperative play is really nice. The ability to play with friends is really nice. But because the game is so massive, like, yeah, you basically just like a D&D group, you would need a dedicated session. You're like, every week we're going to play for 3 hours. We're going to play at this time. Because, yeah, otherwise you're just not going to like get through it. Okay. So
I'm playing the long game, though. I'm raising my children to game with me.
That's amazing. Okay, so you can't quite see all of these statistics that I've got pulled up on the stream here. I think if I... How do I... okay. I'm going to need you to work with me here, Google Chrome. How in the world? Oh, it must be the way that I'm cropping it on stream. Okay.
So out of curiosity, I had written code in like, I don't know, 20 years or something like that.
Okay.
And I was curious to use AI coding. So I started doing it this weekend.
Nice.
Pretty amazing.
It really is. So everything that I use, so I don't know if I told you this, but Michael Dell sent out an email to all of Dell. And it was like, you will start using generative AI in your workflow or you're not going to be able to keep up with the rest of the company.
I basically had to send that email out to my company. Not as big a deal as Dell, obviously. We've got like 220 people, but we're in the exact same place. We're like, yeah, there are younger companies than ours. Relative to Dell, like they would probably look at us and be like, ooh, young, agile company. But we see like 20-person startups where they're using AI for everything and how productive they are. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah. Well, it's insane
you gotta
too.
Stop doing things the way you're doing it.
It's so amazing. I was reading some articles on this. They have talked about the first like solo unicorn, the first billion-dollar company that's going to be a one-person company, and it's only going to be because of the advent of AI. Because all the things that you eventually need to hire another person for, as like AI becomes, especially like, I don't know if you've seen that Salesforce just released their first agentic AI.
Agent Force?
Yeah, they're like their first like agent force.
Yeah,
so they have like a set of agentic AI that have divided up tasks, right? They have like literally they have like middle manager AIs and then like specialist AIs, and it's just supposed to handle like customer facing, like customer service and like service rep task work, which is just amazing. Like the personal LLM project that I was working on, right? So remember you told me, hey, like, why don't you look at developing it on the GDP, and then I told you, oh, they were offering me a bunch of free credits. Well, it turns out you have to qualify for those, and I didn't qualify for them. They did not offer me those free credits. But I did find a website called Nexus Clips that for $60 a year, which means, for the cost of one GPU, I can do it for the next 25 years. Literally every time I upload a video to YouTube or to Twitch, it automatically, within an hour, sends me like 150 plus clips. That's like, hey, these were really good moments of your stream. You should consider clipping them. It gives them like a scale. It tells me why it's just like got like that particular clip. It says this one's like an emotional reaction. This one's like a really big gameplay moment. This one has like a really good analytical section. So I can like track the different moods. And then it's got a bunch of different standard setups, like, oh, do you want to do a 16:9? Do you want to do 9:16? Is this for YouTube? Is this for this? Is like, what is it for? And then it helps me like arrange different sections of the camera. So it's been really nice. And since I've started using it, and that's why I'm trying to show off these YouTube statistics, because you can see when I started using it just back at the tail end of March, right? You see this huge spike in the YouTube analytics. The number that I really want to show off, I'm going to have to just like make this full screen or something real quick. See if I can do that. Oh, you know what? I know what I can do. I can duplicate. Oh, wait, hold on. Duplicate this? Because I don't want to. Okay, copy. It's really funny. It really is. Okay, so we've got the duplicate here now. So I can now edit the properties, transform, fit to screen, transform, edit transform, get rid of all the cropping. You're going to see probably more than, yeah, there it is. Okay, transform, fit to screen. So since I started using this Nexus Clips thing, I like how it says that I have over 999% more views in April than I did in March. So like the YouTube repurposing of the content has become a very successful part of like this content workflow. My league moments I think are my league moments are definitely getting like the most views. It's really funny. For some reason, it's really interesting to see like the like ratios on these. Also, I don't know. So this one right here, right, has a 104% average watch time, which means when people watch this video, they typically watch it for more than just the original video. And that's got 2,700 views. Now, these are pretty small numbers for shorts, but like it's way more than I was getting with anything else. Also, my highest dislike ratio is on the Meat Baby Rumble short, which makes sense because it uses AI art, which is like pretty controversial right now. But then also where I was handing out the rewards last week for everybody's like Canic gifts has a real like almost a 50% dislike ratio, which doesn't make sense to me. I don't know why people don't like that I'm giving you gifts as the rewards for like your quest, but I thought that was funny.
Haters.
So, yeah. Right?
Haters gonna hate.
Haters gonna hate. Like, hey, you guys got cool stuff. I want cool stuff, and I don't have it. And so then they get angry at you.
Do we have quorum? We're not. Is AO here?
I thought AO was here. All right. So that's enough bragging about the YouTube growth.
Here.
I think the only one we're going to be missing tonight is Biscuit.
I know. It's so sad.
It is really sad. 3 weeks. So what we might do, so this week we'll probably continue with the campaign. Next week we'll probably do some sort of special episode. And I haven't quite decided what that's going to be yet. We could do another like backstory, just something like to break up the campaign. I don't want to do 3 weeks of story-driven content without the same player here, right? Like if you miss like 1 or 2 weeks, normally it's like, okay, you guys can catch up pretty fast, but like 3 weeks in a row. Yeah. So we're going to find a way to break up the content either next week or the week after. If you guys have any ideas about something that you'd want to do, or if one of you guys want to try running a session, this is your chance, right? Like if you're like, I just really want to try out this idea, I'm open to it.
I would love to run a session. I don't know if I'm gonna have time to prep between now and then.
I mean, if you want to do it the third week, that gives you 2 full weeks of prep with the resources of everybody in the Discord channel to get it ready. And generative AI.
Would it have to? But it would have to be with at least in our world, right?
No, it can be
like
literally whatever you want. I know, and I know that I would feel comfortable, even if like no one else wanted to develop their character for the session. I would feel comfortable taking on the task of getting a character ready for everyone. So if that's something you're interested in, we will slot you in for April 30th for the super
April
special.
30th. April 30th, I definitely can't do. I'm at a conference that week.
Oh, why would you do that to the rest of us? My heart was about to, it was singing with joy at the thought of playing an Inno one-shot. I
think it would have been fun, yeah. I agree.
That's right. We don't have to scrap the idea just because it's not going to work on the 30th. I think it would still be really fun. I'm looking for interesting ways to like add to our content anyways. I really, really want to do a Kobold karaoke day. Like, I want to do it so bad.
I have
I'm
two
not sure
songs
what that means, but I love it.
You found 2 songs? What songs were you thinking about?
Well, they're parodies, but like, so I don't know. Do you want me to say them now?
Yeah, give us something to look forward to.
One of them is the easiest one. You just take the tequila song, but then you just say Kobold instead.
Kobold's only
the
2
other
syllables,
one I was
though.
thinking, yeah, close enough. And then the other one was instead of closing time, Kobold time.
Oh, coming up with your own lyrics for it.
I like that one.
I do. I like that idea
AI
a lot.
come up with them.
AI, it really is so nice. And so it's funny too when Dell sent out the email, they literally put out a mandatory training. They're like, here's an AI that Dell is hosting on its internal servers. You need to consult with it and set goals for the year about how you're going to improve as like whatever your job is. So like you got like it was like a 10-minute interview session with this AI where it would ask you a bunch of questions like what do you like what are your goals, like what do you consider your strongest traits, what is your job for Dell, like all these different questions. And then it said, okay, here's the outline of the goals that we have to set. What do you think about this idea? And then like you had to like with this AI, with this LLM, set up a goals matrix for the year on how you were going to improve yourself and like benefit the company.
Yeah, that's the way to do it though. Like AI is the most logical partner in figuring out how to use AI, even if you don't use it for anything else. It's good for that.
Yeah, it's honestly working for Dell has been, because I just started with Dell proper in January, right? And the largest company I'd worked for before this had like 50 employees. Which I mean is a decent size for a company, but like Dell's got like 10,000. And
I work for Ford, so I relate to like being a dog.
it's so, because I saw all the goals. Like, so one of the first companies that I worked for was a company that my uncle co-founded, right? And I saw all his goals and all the things that he wanted to get done for his company. Like he started like a nonprofit educational company that was just as designed to like develop and collect educational resources for the members of his company to use, like get certifications and stuff. And he would pay for trainings and he would do all this stuff. And like with the goal of improving his employees and improving their lives. But like Dell just takes it to a whole nother level. The amount of like, so like, there's this whole subsection of Dell benefits called Well at Dell, and they pay me like they give me first of all they like do HSA and HSA contributions, which is amazing. Like even if I'm not contributing to my HSA, they'll contribute to it for me. They give me $500 a year just to spend on health-related items, like smartwatches, exercise equipment, all that stuff. And I don't get the money unless I buy that stuff, and then they'll either directly pay for it or they'll reimburse me for it, whatever's easier for me. And then if you set up personal wellness goals, like health goals, like if I commit to meal prepping and then say that I meal prepped, they will just send me gift cards for Amazon or Target or whoever I want. And then, like, not this week, but the next Monday, they're hosting a global Dell competition where you form up into teams and you just go walk. And whichever, like, for achieving different steps thresholds, they'll just send you money. Like, and so, like, they have all these, like all those health programs. They also have, like, financial wellness programs, just all sorts of tools available to make sure that I'm living, like, a good, healthy life. And it's amazing to see that. Sorry, I don't remember exactly how I started on that tangent. Oh, Yellow Holiday, thank you so much for the lurk. I'm so happy you're here.
Hi.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna catch up. Yipyar, why don't you catch up? Fix it real quick on how your session with Rumble went, the newly awakened Rumble. And then we'll go into the Koenig rewards and finalize Fixit's Koenig request.
Do I get a Koenig request?
You got a Koenig request, and if you're good with the request that was made on your
We
behalf,
picked it for you.
we will move forward.
Cool. I'm good with it. I don't even need to know. all in the game.
Yipyar.
Yes. So the introduction, so I woke up groggy, walked out, and just like walked into Rumble. I didn't roll very high for the introduction, but
While this is going on, I'm going to grab my water. I will be right back. I can still hear you, though.
oh, okay. So we can't say anything.
Don't talk bad about Brian.
Yep.
You can talk bad
The DM can still hear us.
whenever you want.
We can't hear him. He's just gargling in the background.
I heard him.
That guy's about as smart as he is fragrant.
Mm-hmm.
That Brian.
So anyway, so yeah, I bump into Rumble. He's still in a good mood though because of the baby book thing that you did with him. So he liked that. And then I reminded him, or he was reminded of breaking the Shine Time tub, so I went into there and fixed it with him. And we also made a burrow for him in that room to sleep in. Also made a very nice bed for Nana, Sarah, and Ao. Let's see. I also, for the conclusion though, I arranged a meeting with Kane, so that the party and Rumble could meet with Kane, which went really well. Because Kane likes to have conversations with interesting individuals, and a recently awakened Roulette was very interesting. And I believe for you, we requested
The headset, right?
yeah, and a Zune.
Yeah, so yeah, you got
A what?
a Zune. Do you know what a Zune is,
What is
Inno?
this doing? No. No.
Interesting. So a Zune.
Sorry, is this Uber moment?
No. It's no. So a Zune came out at about the same time as the original iPod, like just shortly thereafter.
Oh.
And it was actually like compared to the iPod, like it had like a colored screen. Let's see if I can pull some info about it up here on stream. Yeah, so it was like yeah, okay, this is perfect. So this is exactly what it looked like. And remember, this came out as at the same time as like that original iPod with like that click wheel, if you remember that. But it had like a much more colorful screen, and it was an MP3 player. So it just didn't market as well. And so like it was kind of a joke because the Zune, despite being a like technically superior product, fell flat on its face, and then iPods just took over the entire music consumption industry that had been dominated by like Discman for a while, because Discman didn't have a competitive product. Go ahead.
It's the power of marketing.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's
Basically, over
advertising for
quality.
you.
Yeah, 100% advertising. And so like it's a bit of a meme in the sense that like it's really obscure, even though it was like poised to take over everything. It completely fell flat on his face because of poor marketing. And so like if you know what it is, like it's funny because it just wasn't ever successful. Yeah. So you got a Zune.
All right.
And it's
For Rumble.
specifically full of content to help Rumble, the newly awakened Rumble, become comfortable with like stuff. It's like all educational materials.
Like podcasts and audiobooks.
Podcasts and audiobooks. Oh, and then we've also started a new practice called inspiration. So the way the inspiration mechanic works is at the end of every session, and so I want each of you to be thinking about this over the course of the session. At the end of every session, you're going to award one inspiration die to another player. And the way that it works is if you have an inspiration die, you can only ever have one. You can't like store them up. But to any roll over the course of the session, you can just add a d6, right, to anything that you do. And so you just say, hey, I'm using my inspiration die now. You can use it for a d20 roll, for a damage roll, for whatever you want. You can also... Go ahead.
Wait, you said we could use it after we roll, but before you tell us what happens? Or
Yes. Yep. So you can do it. You can decide to use it after your original roll, but before I've told you what the results are. And so the idea is it adds a little bit of oomph to moments in the story.
And sorry, what's the like? What am I consuming to use an inspiration roll?
It's just called your inspiration die.
Okay.
So if you had like a physical character sheet in front of you, there's like a box in the top right that says inspiration, and it's a one die limit, so you can never have more than one inspiration die. It's supposed to be this mechanic that encourages you to use it often, but then also get awarded it often. So typically in the DMG, it suggests that I, the DM, reward you one inspiration die whenever I feel like you've role-played your character well. And like I still like hold the authority to do that if I so choose. But I find it to be way more rewarding and way more engaging to have you, the players, awarding each other inspiration die at the end of every session. As it's basically like a feedback loop where you give each other inspiration die for things that you liked that other players did. Right, so we have like this little powwow at the end of the session where, and we'll go in contest order. You're like, oh, Ayo, Board Game Bree, hello, welcome back to the stream. Where in contest order, you will say, hey, Yipyar, I really liked this thing that you did today, and that awards Yipyar an inspiration die. Right, and then the next person gets to say, "Oh, well, I really liked this moment," and so it creates there's a couple of things that this does. First, it creates more engagement. Second, it gives you each the opportunity to like really appreciate good role-playing moments or good, thereby hopefully creating more of those moments. Yeah, so that's the inspiration system. Any questions? Okay, Fix It. You do currently have an inspiration die. It was awarded to you in the hopes that you would feel well soon. So you have one for this session.
All right, I feel better just knowing that.
Cheddar Cheese 1, welcome back to the stream. It's Dungeons and Dragons Day. I put Wednesday, I need to learn how to say this. WeDnDnesdays in the title. I put it down because it was a punny word. Because Wednesday is spelled WEDN, and then I just threw like another DN. So it's the word D&D appears in the middle of the word Wednesday. But now that I'm struggling to say it, I realize that it is. I don't know. I don't think that's a pronounceable word. It's interesting. I remember when I was learning Russian, I was thrown off by. What'd you say?
Wednesday.
But you have to make the D&D stand out in the middle of it.
I think it's just silent.
Oh, just Wednesday. It's still just Wednesday. It's just got the hidden D&D. With WeDnDnesday. WeDnDnesdays Day. WeDnD's Day. WeDnD's Day. I don't know.
WeDnD's Day. I think WeDnD Day is good.
WeDnD
What is
Day.
happening?
Just,
I think he's having a stroke.
I'm just
in my mind. There's like a movie scene where it's then like 90 minutes later. You're like, and we're wrapping up the stream. Still talking about this.
I'm just like, it's going to be happening over the course of the entire session, I think, where I'm just still going to be trying to pronounce the word. And so when I was learning Russian, I was thrown off because there's a lot of Russian words that have 4 or 5 consonants in a row in a word, right? Like the word for hello is здравствуйте, which has a VSVT in the middle, right? So you have to pronounce VSVT. And I was like, how do you ever do that? We don't do that in English. WeDnDnesdays. What? Why did we add the Nepal? I don't know. Yeah, I mean, Slavic languages in general have consonant clusters up the wazoo. I think German has German. So in German and in English, you can still get like 4 consonant clusters, but they're divided between syllables, right? So if you have a word like buttress, that's only 3 in a row, but the TTR, you have the 2 consonants on one side on one syllable and then the R on the other side in the next syllable. And so that's the only way that it happens in English and in Germanic. Romance languages in general. You'll have 4 consonant clusters where they're 2 separate syllables. But здравствуйте, it's the same syllable. All 4 of those consonants, just boom, they're just right there. And that's just the way life works. There's a word that's just W, and it's pronounced like a V. I like watching
Lies.
Pixar. It didn't happen.
Language to our character just because of this session.
No. Rumble can learn a new language. I don't know about the rest of you.
Okay, good enough.
All right, so I have an inspiration die, and I have a what is this thing called again? A Zune?
A Zune, yes, and the Zune is specifically full of podcasts and educational materials for Rumble, the newly awakened baby Boulette. Also, I don't know if y'all saw this. Yipyar sent it
Based
to
on
me.
the stats, most of these other bozos need the educational materials more than Rumble does.
Yeah.
This is baby Rumble.
Am I
He's
right?
adorable. All of you, yeah. Everyone except you has a negative intelligence modifier. But I believe that baby Boulette.
Hold up. I have a +0 to intelligence. Excuse you.
Oh.
Excuse you.
I definitely have a -1.
Wait, was there an official Wizards of the Coast baby Boulette that was released? I thought that's what you sent me. Or was it just was it a homebrew stat block?
No, that wasn't AI
that's an
generated.
official-
No?
That's an official thing for D&D 2024 or whatever they're calling it. 1D&D. They called it a Boulette pup.
Boulette. Boulette pup. Yeah, there it is. Boulette pup. Now, I'm not going to say that they did this because of our stream, But I am going to say that we had a baby roulette before there was a baby roulette stat block. So
Indeed.
I have to unlock the. Can you? Okay, I'm not doing that. I know, right?
Yeah.
Baby roulette is so freaking cute. We actually have there's a Rumble emote, a Rumble inspired emote now. I thought there was. Do I not
don't
have the
see it.
Rumble inspired emote yet? Oh, you know what? This one, the Stay Positive Turt. There was an opportunity for the Stay Positive Turt to actually be Rumble's face doing this. The turtle is an unofficial mascot of the Boru Nation channel because
And we will slowly morph that turtle into Rumble.
into Baby Rumble. He's so freaking adorable. So because Boulettes eat so much, the party was having troubles keeping him fed. And so one of the solutions that they started doing was they started turning Baby Rumble into a bunny. And then they would feed the bunny. And then he would turn back into Boulette and be full. All right. So we need to first we need to award Ao his Sword of Destiny roll. So for those of you who are unfamiliar, we have the Sword of Destiny here at Boru Nation. It was a housewarming gift given to me by the Knight 257 when I bought my first home. And it has a full set of Dungeons & Dragons dice from D4 to D100. And so, Ao, you get to choose what die you want, what Destiny die you would like me to roll, and it will give you a Destiny boon for the next 24 hours. Now, the higher the number you pick, the greater the risk, but the greater the potential reward. So you can choose anything
you
between.
know me.
Yeah.
We're going for the 100. I don't think I've ever rolled a D100.
Oh, okay. So I'm not gonna lie. My favorite part about being a DM is rolling D100s. They're all over the DMG. They've got all sorts of D100 loot tables that are just. I used to love like I would plan a little bit for my session, and then I would spend literally 3 times as long rolling the loot table to see what loot I was going to give my party. Like, it was like, whoa, what am I going to get? Like, what? And then I'd be like, okay, well, I only rolled an 11, but maybe I should give them a bonus item, right? And then I'd like roll again. It was like crack.
You made your own loot boxes. That's what happened.
Man. Well, so they have rules in the DMG both for discrete loot, where like, hey, like the when you have a challenge rating of such and such, like you can give this kind of loot out, right? Obviously, like if it's someone using a weapon, you're justified in like giving out the weapons and stuff. But then it would have like magic item tables, and then it would be like, or you can save up for what's called a trove, where you get to roll like the D100 like 7 times, and then they come upon like a trove of treasures. And I'm like, ooh, yes, please, let's do that. All right, D100.
That sounds fun.
Coming up right here. Ooh, 79. 79. I believe yesterday Board Game Bree got an 83. So you're joining her right in the neighborhood. Board Game Bree, how has that 83 been treating you today? Oh. All right, things are moving around over here. And then I believe there's got to be at least one Rumble standard emote coming out. Let me check my direct messages with the artist. Oh, yeah, there is. I can give you a preview of it. Of the regular emotes that we still have coming out. Let's see if I can do... Where's my display capture? Boom. Okay, so right here we have what's called the Reset Rabbit. It's an animated emote that's going to be coming onto the channel. And the idea, right? So one of the ideas of the stream is mental resilience. And how do you practice mental resilience? Well, you put yourself into mentally difficult situations. And premium hydrate. Okay, I have my Las Vegas, Nevada. Oh, camera's over here. Las Vegas, Nevada water bottle that I often plug the hole with my nose on accident, making it very difficult to drink from. Just for you, Yip Yar. And I just spilled water all over my face. I'm so good at drinking water. So the idea of the Reset Rabbit is that, like, when you encounter a mentally difficult situation, you hit the reset button and you give yourself the chance to get back on your feet. We have a Tima spewing dark flame emote coming out. This one should be coming out to the stream here pretty quickly. We have, this is an East Wind emote that's going to be joining the channel. I don't know if this is what y'all pictured whenever you would speak to the East Wind, but here it is.
No, but I like it.
And this is the Baby Rumble emote that will be coming to the channel as soon as she finishes everything up. We did decide to, like, we went through a few different ideas of how we wanted to integrate Baby Rumble into the emotes. And we really liked this concept of him just being really happy, but really showing off that he's like a boulette. He's a wild, aggressive, extremely ferocious, and terrifying creature. So.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like he's like pit bulls. You know, like people are scared of him, but he's just really nice.
He is really nice. That is an excellent question. So, Cheddar Cheese, the idea behind this campaign and this whole world that I set up, I thought it would be really fun to set up a campaign where the players their stats were really bad, and they were going to have to find creative solutions in order to solve their problems. So when I set up the Kobold campaign, I pitched this idea to each of the players, and they agreed to it, where their racial stat bonus for being kobolds was -2 to all stats. So I let them use the point buy system. They were allowed to distribute their points however they wanted. And then instead of the typical like +2 or +4 stats that you get for being a race, they all got -2 to everything. And then on top of that, I put them into a world that hates kobolds. They have time and time again had to suffer at the discrimination and just pure prejudices of the world. And so part of this story, part of the arc of this campaign, is that they've had to overcome all of the obstacles set in their way. The fact that they're just not as like physically capable or mentally capable as a bunch of the other playable races, right? And people with whom they can interact. They're not as like immediately capable as a lot of other like adventuring parties. And there are just a bunch of people who hate them just for being who they are. And despite all of these things, they have banded together and created some wonderful, wonderful stories. It has been a ton of fun. What is actually y'all's as the party? Now that you've been playing, some of you have been playing this for over a year with like these characters. What is some of your feedback about how the experience has been?
Oh, I gotta say, it's hard talking to NPCs when everyone thinks of you as pest, basically, like subhuman creatures. So, but that has been interesting.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, it's my first campaign, so I don't have much to compare it to, but it's been a challenge, like finding our way, and I think it's kind of been good. It, like forces us to bond more with each other because we know we're not going to get a lot of love from the outside world. You know, a little bit too close to home, but art imitates life, right?
Yeah, it does.
Kidding. People like me.
I like you.
Now you're joking.
So, yeah, one of the things that I really wanted to express with this particular story as well is that I have a lot of people who really min-max their D&D characters for combat, right? And while combat is a fun part of Dungeons & Dragons, I feel that the real beauty in the game comes from the storytelling moments, like the collective storytelling of Dungeons & Dragons. And good storytelling has highs and lows. I've played with people before who, like, very, very much, if they didn't roll above a 15 on the D20, felt like it was a failure and that it was a terrible moment and that there was no recovering from that point. And they would like pester the DM, can I re-roll it? Can I have advantage? Can I do this? Right? And they would always try to make sure, like, if they didn't get a good roll, they often would try to hide it or like, right? And that's just a miserable way to play, where if you think to yourself, the only way this game is going to be fun is if I get above a 15 on every single thing that I do. And right, one of the ways that I have chosen to counteract that is the DM is I try to make the bad moments, right, the 5s and belows, just as much fun and just as engaging and just as interesting, if not more so, than the wild successes. And I feel like the party has really embraced that. I feel like our party is really good at like rolling with the high and the low rolls and role playing it really well and having fun kind of no matter what happens. So I really, really love that about our party.
It was kind of part of it when you started with a -2 to everything.
Yeah, the idea was to force you to be okay with those moments because they were going to be happening a lot. Yeah, so I feel like the really good story moments happen at both ends, right? And changing the paradigm of the game to include, hey, like these bad moments, these tough moments should be just as an integral part of your story as like the good highlights. Have gone really, really well. Oh man! All right, so we need to get started with today's D20 contest. So last week,
my sword. Do I get to know what happened with the sword?
yeah, I rolled a 79.
Yeah, what happened with that 79? Do I know?
So a 79 out of 100 is a really good roll. At some point, I'll probably generate a table for how to broadly interpret rolls. But for the next 24 hours, right, just expect like really good success, right? Like really good pieces of fortune to step into your life. So the first ever Sword of Destiny roll was a natural 20 on the D20. And he came back to me. He actually came to the stream last night. He's like, hey, by the way, I wanted to give you feedback on my Sword of Destiny roll. He had sold his house. He got a promotion at work. And then he said something else that was like completely like that was made up, but like just to boost but like he did actually sell his house and get a raise at work after rolling a 20.
That's a crit for sure.
Yeah. So that was amazing. And then we haven't had any nat ones yet, but we have had some really low rolls. I think somebody got like a 3 on the D100 at some point, or a 7, like something that was like single digits. Yeah, so 79 is like really good, right? It's not like a grade scale where an 80% is a B, right? This is a D1 is the worst day that you could possibly have, and a D100 is like literally the best that could ever happen.
Yeah, we up there. Parsing.
Yeah. I also, with the D100, it actually might be more of a logarithmic scale, where like a 60 is 10 times better than a 50, right? And then a 70 is 10 times better than a 60. Have any of you read, is anyone else here a fan of the Stormlight Archive and know about Teravangian? If not, then I'll just keep those thoughts to myself. But
I have no idea.
Oh,
Sorry,
that's
I've not
a
read
shame.
them.
Oh my gosh, that's such a shame.
You should
It's
feel
so
bad.
good. You should. The Stormlight Archive is so good. They just finished Arc 1. Book 5 just came out, Wind and Truth. It was beautiful. And Brandon Sanderson, as an author, one of the things that I really appreciate about the way that he writes his books is he also adheres to this concept of like stories aren't just about the really high highs, right? It's just not a string of wild successes one after the other. There have to be downfalls and pitfalls and struggles. And the Stormlight Archive especially, he does a really, really good job of like pretty much every single main character is like beautifully arrayed in this pattern of like a wide capture of the different societal niches that exist, right? I don't know if I've talked much about Afrofuturism on stream, which is one of my favorite genres of fiction. But there's a lot of like social topics that people are really hesitant to talk about directly and explicitly, which is understandable. There's a lot of emotion tied up in a lot of social issues, and it becomes very difficult to talk about explicitly, especially while keeping a level head. But one of the beauties about fiction is that you can kind of abstract these social issues just enough that you can talk about them explicitly within the framework of the story without like completely trotting on people's emotions or thoughts or stances. And so Brandon Sanderson does that really, really well, especially in the Stormlight Archive. There's a lot of essentially fringe behaviors or like social fringes that are brought to the limelight because of the way he writes the stories, and that's one of the things that I really like about them. All right, D20 contest. I do not have one prepared for today. So does anyone have any ideas? For the last 2 weeks, right, we did unwarranted karaoke confidence, and then we did actual karaoke skill, and we saw a really interesting trend, actually, right? Where the biggest gap in confidence to skill was actually, I think, AO, right? Yeah. AO.
Was it overconfidence or insecurity?
No, way too insecure for how good he is at karaoke.
Oh yeah, I got a 3 and an 18, I think.
Mm-hmm. So AO is the best at actual karaoke in the party, and has a 3 in confidence. Yeah. Whereas Fix-It, you have a 2 confidence and you have a 13, so you're still like actually decent at karaoke, but you're also super insecure about it.
I should be a lot more insecure than I actually am.
Same.
Yeah, Yipyar and Zarya got a 6 and a 5. But Zarya puts on a show, right? Yeah, you both have a 19 and an 18 with the confidence. That's a weird noise. One time on the first cruise I ever went on, they had an Elvis impersonation contest. And I got selected from the audience to come up and like compete or whatever. And I don't know any of the lyrics to any Elvis song. And they put, I think the song they had me dance to was Ain't Nothing But a Hound Dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I knew the words hound dog. That was it. Thankfully, I was lip syncing, but I was lip syncing really badly. But I won the contest just because I had the moves, right? I know exactly what Elvis is supposed to look like, and I just threw everything I had into it, and it was amazing. So, yeah, don't count on me to be an Elvis impersonator. Contest.
Elvis impersonator contest?
Are we saying that there's a Kobold Elvis that exists?
There is now.
All right.
He's
Kobold
a bard.
Elvis impersonation. Party, please get out your D20s and join us for the Kobold Elvis impersonation contest. Let your dice roll. That felt like a pretty hypey intro. How did we feel about it?
Like a 16.
I got a 5.
AO 16. Yipyar 5. What else do we got?
I got a 6.
And another 6 for Fix-It.
Wow.
So not many good Elvis impersonators here.
No. AO, I'm going to have you roll for Biscuit.
I feel like Biscuit would be a good.
I feel like she's got this, yeah.
Yeah, she's got the moves, right?
The dice will know.
Trying to
18.
Yeah.
Woo!
Yeah.
Wow. That's really good. I'm trying to... Can I do channel point redemptions in my own chat? Is that a thing? Trying to like magnify the...
Oh, that's with bits.
Yeah, it's with bits.
Yeah,
gotta
I have...
gigantify.
Oh, I have to use bits? Okay, I'll pay myself 30 bits to gigantify an emote. There we go.
There you go.
Hey! Thank you for the 30 bits, the Knight 257, and me. All right, Biscuit got an 18. I'm surprised. I'm surprised that the alert box doesn't pick that up. Dude, there's so many cool things that I see on other people's streams that I'm like, how do I get that to work?
Yeah, you gotta set that up too.
There's like celebrations where like people have like emotes just like drop out of the sky on the screen, which looks really cool. There's people who's like the stream title will just like spray across the stream at times. Like there's so many cool effects that like I want to do, and I there's so much more to this channel than there used to be, right? And it's still amazing how many things I'm learning as I'm trying to get everything set up. I am going to be building my first PNG tuber for Vander, who's my double up partner. It was suggested. Yeah, I've got to get them all set up. I've got to. I've set up so many things, and every week I'm setting up more and more things, and yet there's just like I've got this. Look, I've got all these note cards full of things.
It's a rabbit hole, man.
It is a rabbit hole, right? So like I've got literally note cards full of the notes of all the different, like I've got all these commands that I want to get written for the chatbots. I've got like notes about overlays. I've got notes about, oh, that's a different set of note cards. This is a wedding invitation.
Why did it sound like you picked up the naughty cards or something?
The naughty cards. No, my friend, I have a friend who's very invested in getting me into a more active dating life. And it's been going well, but he's like, so he had me set up some online dating profiles, and he's like, these are exactly the kind of pictures you need, and this is exactly like how you set it up and all this stuff. So
you got any good one-liners in those cards?
No, there's nothing about like cheesy. So it's really interesting. So I've been reading these books about a lot of books about like human communication and behavioral styles, right? I read like Surrounded by Idiots. I read The Value of Others. I read How to Win Friends and Influence People. I read How to...
Surrounded by Idiots definitely seems like something that'll help you with dating.
So it actually does. So Surrounded by Idiots is a really interesting book. It's based on the DISC system, which essentially divides humans into 4 general behavioral communication categories. And it's not like you're either one or the other. There's a lot of blends out there, where people adhere to like 2 or more of the I think it's about 80% of humanity adheres to like 1 of the behavioral communication styles, and then it's about 15% adhere to 2, and then there's a 5% population that adheres to 3 of the 4, and like a blend. Yeah. As a small streamer, there's, oh my goodness, I need to follow you. I didn't even think about that. I'm pretty sure I could do it from here. Followed. Da 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 da. You have been followed, Cheddar Cheese One, because you're wonderful. And yeah, so it's the DISC system is something like domineering, inspirational, stalling, and computational or analytical. It's sometimes referred to as an A instead of a C, which are like the 4 general communication behaviors that people exhibit. And the book is inspired by this guy who he was like the CEO of his own company, had hired every single person in the company, like was running the company. He probably had like 20 or 25 employees. And like one day he makes the remark, like, I'm surrounded by idiots. Like everyone in my workplace is an idiot and nobody can get anything done. And then like the guy who wrote the book, he's like, but you literally interviewed and hired every single one of them. Like it doesn't make sense that you would then think that all of them are idiots. So, and it led him down this rabbit hole of like examining human behaviors and communication styles, and essentially the dominating communication style has a strong tendency to think of other people as idiots because they're just like the go, get things done, start it now, figure out what the problems were later kind of people. And when other people don't want to immediately start a project, these people get frustrated. So, Surrounded by Idiots. It's a really good book. Well, there was a more relevant... Oh, to the dating thing. So I read this book called Models recently, which was really, really interesting.
That sounds like you can help with dating.
Well, because AO brought up this idea of one-liners, right? And so the book opens with a scathing review of what it calls performic dating advice. Which is when you go look for dating advice out in the world, there's a lot of people, a lot of resources that will be like, this is how you have to act. This is exactly how you treat the other person. These are exactly the lines that you say. These are exactly the signs that you look for, like all this stuff. And the author says this is very performing. It's very much about looking for these signs and trying to like game the system essentially and luck into a relationship if that's what you're looking for, where a lot of it is kind of con artisty, right? Is deceptive by nature because you're not actually motivated to like encourage relationships with that sort of performance. And so Models instead says, what I'm going to aim to do is develop a model for male behavior about the kind of person you should be aiming to be if you want to have healthy and meaningful relationships. And so he like lays out this idea that you shouldn't be performative. You shouldn't be doing things because you want to look good. If you feel like things aren't working, you should look inside of yourself and find the things that need change to become more of the person that you want to be. And so that like resonated really strongly with me. I love the idea of like being integral to yourself, right? The idea of integrity is really important to me. And then, I also love the idea of self-improvement. Again, it's one of the like huge things about the stream and what I'm trying to do here. So all that to say, no, AO, there were no corny one-liners that were added to any of the dating profile stuff.
Gotta work on that.
Trying to set you up with Ariel when we all work together, but then we all went our separate ways. We did all go our separate ways. And Ariel is very happy. Her husband's amazing. They have a child. She's wonderful. She's a wonderful person. It's been a long time. Sometimes I talk to Lily still. She lives like up in Chicago. She works for a nonprofit that does like medical outreach. When my grandfather had muscular dystrophy, she actually like knew a bunch of people and resources that she gave us access to in order to like help him through that. So that was really cool. Oh man, I still love Olive Garden. I like I love the food. Every time I go back, it's just like there's a special sense of yeah. Who else did I talk to recently? I can't remember. But it was good times. My double up partner, his name is CJ. Every time I type CJ in my phone to text him, it still brings up CJ Bounds sometimes. Who was my old GM at the first Olive Garden that I ever worked at. Okay, so we are into the Dungeons and Dragons session. We have everybody has had the opportunity to introduce themselves to Rumble, have a little bit of meeting and one-on-one time with the newly awakened Rumble. Ao and Old Nana Sarah are now back from their honeymoon. They have a brand new refurbished room with a brand new stone bed set up on top of like a huge dais that was built through the magics of Yip Yar. Anything you want to say about that, Ao?
Well,
there's also, don't forget about the Zarya statue.
There's a Zarya statue right in the middle. This room is very different. Honey, did you have people work on this while we were gone? I don't know if it's the concussion.
Also, your door was exploded. I don't think we fixed that.
Well, you did. Remember, Kane was like, you guys can just order bigger doors through the Kanic terminals.
Yeah.
All right.
So that Rumble can walk through the doors.
It does feel windier in here. Maybe it's the tunnels. I didn't really like what they've done with the place.
Old Nana Sarah also has, at all times, an entourage of 20 butlers trained in various butlering arts. She has one butler whose sole purpose is to make sure that the locket she wears around her neck is always sparkling. So just
and that the chain is in the back. That's the real thing.
And
that the chain is in the back. Necklaces.
Is Rumble here? Hey, buddy, you down there?
Yeah, Rumble is Rumble's. They created a huge burrow under your bed, so he basically has like an underground network of tunnels and rooms set up for him now under your room. But you found a little bit to your annoyance, right? He is constantly listening to his Zune and therefore can't hear what's going on around him because he's just sitting there.
I figured. He's in that age right now.
He's that age where all he wants to do is listen to music because it resonates with his
he's
soul.
like a teenager, kind of.
Yeah. I think that's probably the best entry point.
He's like an angsty teenage bullet right now.
Mm.
Well, and part of the hard part is he is almost twice as intelligent. Well, no, he is more intelligent than most of the party, right? And so, like, you guys say things, and he finds logical flaws in your arguments all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just a know-it-all. I'm gonna let him be for now. We should go say hi to the party. I'm gonna go find everyone.
Where is everyone? You're all hanging out in Bookfinder Lounge 5 with your new Rumble-sized doors. Has anybody else expanded their room so that Rumble has like a section of your room for himself? Or is it only AO?
I mean,
I'm
I
gonna
probably
say
would
I
have.
have not.
Yippyar, you think you would have?
Before I left the room, I wanted to hang my coat on the Zarya statue. That's what I'm gonna use it for.
That's a good place to hang a coat.
So you're wearing all 4 of your belts?
Yep, all 4 of them. Well, no, there's one, the new one, the ceremony one. I never take off, like a wedding ring.
So is that the 5th one?
That's the 4th one, I think.
Yeah, that's the 4th. That's his 4th belt.
Yeah. He can count to 4 now.
He can count to 4. He's like a real band member. That's one of the nerdiest jokes I think you could ever hear on a stream. They told us in marching band all the time that you never had to be able to count to anything higher than 4.
Basically, yeah.
Except in color guard, sometimes we had to count to 8.
Well,
That's just 4
counted
twice.
4 twice.
Yeah, that's just 4 twice.
Why would you do that?
Dance. Color guard is dance plus marching band mixed together.
So I kind of want to walk into the Bookfinder Lounge with the whole Butler entourage and just find my friends.
So don't forget that the Ruel family butlers are, for the most part, really, really well trained in stealth. And so while she does constantly have the entourage, they do a really good job of staying out of the way and unseen, and will only appear in the moment of your butlerish need.
That's amazing.
Did they
Okay, so
take
do
his
I, like-
child yet?
Sorry, Yippyar?
Did they take his child yet?
They, yes. Baby Butler is at the Ruel family manor being trained in the way of the Ruel family butlers. I believe that actually happened before the wedding, was when he was originally dropped off. And Baby Butler is just a baby kobold, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. I think that was right when we left for the crypt.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Ruel family manor for butler training.
So basically, he was collateral.
In case things didn't go well.
No.
But yes.
He was part of the deal.
Do
We
we
just wanted to get his training started.
remember where the baby Namicon is?
Didn't we give it up for points? For
Your
didn't we
your
donate it?
living baby.
I don't think you gave up the baby Nomicon.
I
No?
I'll
thought
go up to-
we.
I've got a
think
table of all the
Steve-
books that you've found.
Yeah, either the butlers from level 4 have it.
I thought we gave him to like a group of people who were like him.
That
Oh, we
may have
found two people.
happened.
That's crazy.
Thought that Sneed had them.
Yeah, I thought you guys gave it to Thneed, Mr. Thneed for something, but apparently I don't
Just to
write the
pick
word
their
baby
thing.
Nomicon very often. Or ever. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what happened to the baby Nomicon. I also had like a strange recollection that it was given to
Baby
yeah,
book.
you turned in the Swamp Nomicon. You haven't done anything with the Fem Nomicon, which doesn't make sense to me. There was a mystery book.
We gave up all the other books to Kane, except for the Baby Nomicon, which we left with Mr.
Mr.
Sneed.
Thneed. Mr. Thneed. I'm highlighting it on stream right now for you. Thneed. But yeah, we're gonna have to tie up that loose end at some point. Y'all are gonna have to go back and get Baby Nomicon back up in here.
Yeah,
We've
you
got
call it
like
baby book.
quite a little family, huh?
Yeah. So really, really early on, that's false. Oh my gosh. Like 10 years ago. 8 years ago? 8 years ago. Which is still not even, like, that's only like, so I've been DMing now for 20 years. Which is a long time. 8 years ago, I was looking up some stuff about how to get parties more engaged in the game. And one of the ways that you do that is you give them pets.
And to
And
this
just
day.
It's something that I really
Yeah.
enjoy doing, right? Like giving you guys the baby boulette. You haven't like kept the baby Nomicon. Like you've a little bit kept a Kosh around, right? The kind of moody Kenku
Yeah. I
that
wouldn't
follows
call him
Fix
a
It around.
pet.
That's true, but like essentially giving you NPCs that like come with your party or do things with your party, interact with your party.
Yeah, they're fun.
So, but you do have Rumble, and Rumble has very much become a part of your party. So you have kind of finished up, right? All the quests that you've been on. The Ruel family has celebrated and given you all the rewards for the quest that you took from Talia. And so now you're kind of at a crossroads, right? You, I believe with the Adventurers Guild, you're still the lowest rank. I don't know if I put that in a table anywhere.
I thought we were the highest rank, which is why Talia picked us.
Oh, that's right. Because you, right, when you meant to do,
Like,
you did the giant
outranked-
scorpions, right?
Yep.
Well, yeah, because we did the giant scorpions instead of the little ones, and so they bumped us up, and they were like, "Yeah, you're kind of outranked. We kind of outranked their Adventurers Guild." I thought.
Yes, you have
this
outranked the
small
Adventurers Guild in this town, which,
Yeah.
from the rumors, right, the Ruel family is, you know, basically a rural noble family that has been banished to like take care of this small town. And so now you have to, you're at a crossroads, right? You've won over this one small town. And they are willing to accept in this town that kobolds are not vermin. They have taken the kobolds off of the vermin extermination quest, right? Out of respect for you. You've now done a
And this-
personal favor and married into the ruling family of this town. And it's probably time to move on. Oh, which probably means I should bring up the map for y'all, right? It's been a while since we've looked at this.
Oh boy, are we going to the big city now?
I think Biscuit was pretty good when she cut off her own ear for that.
Oh man, yeah. She did give for the cause.
She should have gotten some inspiration from that.
We weren't doing it at the time.
I know.
You were not.
Retroactively give her inspiration, even though
I don't
she
want to
already
edit. I
has
just
some.
want to look at it. There we go. Can y'all see the map now?
Give it a sec. It's getting there.
All right.
We're delayed.
I had to click through a lot of things to get to this point.
Okay, I think so now.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
So,
we're here.
right. This map is divided into sections that are ruled by the various dragons and deities of this land.
I mean, what are you guys thinking? World domination? Is it just me?
It might just
No?
be you.
Okay.
Well, I kind of feel like we're on a quest to get kobolds treated better. We've been kind of at least somewhat successful. There's at least one backwater crappy town where they no longer think of us as vermin. So
hey,
yeah.
That's a success in my book.
That's a win. Win is a win.
A win is a win, right?
So,
but yeah, I think going to the big city is I think that's the right way to try to do this. Try to continue our win streak.
All right. So the map or the world as you understand it, right? So remember that at the border of Cana and Kayla's territories, that's where Gurgle lives. And it is in Kayla's territory where the nobles compound that you raided is. There's got to be it. So, and then the portal to the Shadow Realm that you remember, that's where you save the East Wind. That's in the Jarmic Forest, which is actually ruled by a non-dragon. Right, it's ruled by Jarm. And then the village of the Ruel family sits just past the border into Vale's territory. So you've been to Vale's territory, you've been to Kayla's territory. You've just barely dipped into Vale's territory, and you kind of beelined it for the noble compound in Kayla's territory. And then you've explored some of the Jarmic jungle, which, if you remember, is full of huge monsters. I don't know if you remember the episode where one of you decided to be monster bait, and we rolled for that as our contest.
Yeah, I'm very tasty.
Very tasty to monsters.
And now, and like, the god there probably hates you now. So...
Oh yeah, as soon as I walk into that forest.
Yeah, it's on.
So,
yeah, that baby I blessed is now cursed.
What about Kor and Korsa? I don't think we've dealt with them much.
You haven't dealt with them or Siren or Stella at all.
Yeah, but Stella's like, we have to go through the forest to get her.
Well, no, Stella, you're going to have to walk either through Vale or Kayla's territories. Well, I guess you could go through the mountains. But she kind of has dominion over the beaches. Let's go back to...
So we're going to do a nautical campaign? We're just going to go into the ocean?
Just start going to the ocean.
Each episode?
So the lawful dragons, Stella, Kayla, and Vale... Stella, Kayla, and Vale are the lawful dragons, right? So lawful means that they support society and civilization and having like rules about how you treat each other. That's what being lawful means. And so Vale, Kayla, and Stella will have territories that have the most robust human populations and the biggest metropolitan areas. So if that's something that you're looking for, right, is to find bigger human populations, those would be the places that you would look. Those are the more lawful areas. Whereas Kor into Korsa becomes increasingly more chaotic, where it's much more about like a, like almost, I don't want to say like might is right, but like a look out for yourself and you get what you deserve kind of attitude.
Yeah.
Which a little bit exists in Kane's world too, right? Kane isn't... Yeah, he's chaotic. So he believes in doing good things, right? That's why he's set up the library. That's why he's interested in conversations. But also, like, there's a strong element of chaos in Kane's territory where it's a fend for yourself. Like, if you can't take care of yourself, then that's a you problem.
For sure.
Which I think you guys have seen, right? Both with the way the bookfinders work, also, like, with the way the pods work.
Where
So-
was the sorry, and this might be kind of random. Where was
Mhm.
the Colosseum? I think it was Paleors.
Colosseum. That may have been part of the noble compound. How do you
I
spell
remember
Colosseum?
when we were in the Jarmik village, we found some prisoners captive. One of them
Oh, so
mentioned the Colosseum.
interesting. I do not have any recollection of that, but it would probably be. So the prisoners that you found in the Charmic village, right? The ones in the cages, those are the ones you're talking about, including
Yeah. The elf, and there was a human guy.
There was a human guy. Yeah, so he was actually, so he is really old, and the arena that he was talking about doesn't exist anymore. That was actually before Kane came to this land
Oh, I
that
see.
existed. Yeah.
That's cool.
Because the previous deity, so this world actually used to be entirely just desert and jungle, ruled by Jarm and another god who were constantly at war with one another, and had two very differing philosophies on, the way society should work. Obviously, you've run into the Jarmic way of life, and how they kind of treat that. But the world has grown and expanded, and the land has shifted to adhere to essentially the new gods, which are this band of dragons that rose up about 3,000 years ago to take over the vast majority of this world.
Yeah. I mean, it's important that like going out there and making a better name for kobolds in bigger parts of the world. But I'm kind of also interested in getting to know the other dragons. I don't know how the party feels about that.
I know for a fact that Biscuit's very interested in getting to know Tema better. And remember that Biscuit and Zarya, Zarya was actually dragonless when you met her. Right, Zarya?
Yes.
But then Biscuit, I believe, was born as a Temic kobold. And so, right, like, it stands to reason that every single one of these dragons is supporting their own population of kobolds. And so, right, there's kind of two paths to building rapport for kobolds. One of them, right, is going out and interacting with people, which you've done a little bit. Another is going out and encouraging other kobolds to do the same. I think there's like a two-pronged plan of attack.
Oh, we could meet other we could meet other Temic kobolds.
Temic kobolds might be hard to find. She was banished to the shadow, the shadow plane, which is a dark and terrifying place. And she was imprisoned, therefore, like, locking her out of really being able to heavily influence her kobolds. Right? Like, you guys have had kind of minimal interaction with Kane, but he does, right, like, have like a very robust, essentially, reward system set up to encourage his kobolds. My camera keeps freezing at really weird moments. I don't know if that's happening all the way to the stream side of things or if it's just my computer, but some really weird facial expressions keep getting frozen, and I keep catching them out of the corner of my eye.
It did freeze on the stream just now.
What a very interesting facial expression.
Yeah.
Also, I believe Biscuit and Yipyar were both half Kane, half Tema right now.
Yes, you are both half Timic, half Kanic. Both of you somehow were able to get a boon that gave you extra bond space.
Yep. And that's when I dropped the Jarmic, and that's why he hates me now.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I drank water wrong again. I'm so good
It's
at
not
this.
that hard, Brian.
Maybe for you, because you're a real human. Drinking water will solve my water drinking problems. Okay.
What do we know about Vale's territory? What's down there?
Your characters know almost nothing.
But we have access to like vast libraries now.
You do have access to vast libraries, so you can go down and do some research. So Vale's territory is a forest rather than a jungle. And so there are pockets of civilization set up along trade routes.
I'm sorry, Brian. Could you go in depth in the differences between a forest and a jungle?
Yeah. First, humidity. Second, the type of trees that are there. Third, the megafauna and regular fauna that exist.
He's totally making this up.
So we got to say it with confidence.
No, I believe all of those are very real differences between jungles and forests. Closeness to the equator. Yeah, the kinds of things that live and survive. The forest is a much tamer place than the jungle. Also, there's a lot more order to it. It's also much less hot. Did I hear what?
Oh, that they brought direwolves back now?
I did hear that, and I'm super excited about it because wolves are the best. Oh, I meant to start my new lifelong learning segment today since Wolf Dog Wednesdays ended, but then I forgot. So the Vale territory is a forest that has pockets, right, just like the Ruel village that you're now familiar with. Where there will be large, essentially, clearings of the forest, where people have set up kind of these, not urbanized, but like village-type areas. And so there's a lot of them kind of crisscrossing this forest. There's like a main pathway from east to west that is kept very safe and kept very clean by very diligent guards. And that's just to inspire commerce and trade, because there's a lot of rare materials found in Korra's territory that are considered very valuable in Stella's territory. And then obviously there's a lot of... so over here in Stella's territory, you know this through research, I guess?
Go
ahead.
So it's relatively safe to travel through.
Yeah. Vale's territory is relatively safe. Unlike the Jarmic jungle.
The jungle or the compound with people that hate us. Well,
yes, yeah. Traveling through the compound would probably be a really bad idea. Thankfully, it's pretty easy to avoid. Yeah, because you can think of the Nobles compound essentially as like this huge gated community where a bunch of really rich froofy-doos have like their second or third homes that they go to interact with other people.
Yeah, it's a country club.
Yeah, it's a really big country club.
I'll definitely do research with AO.
Okay.
On Vale's territory, mostly focusing on the plants and animals there.
Okay. Yeah, so the Vale's territory, again, like the major trading hubs are in Stella and Korra's territory, but because all the commerce ends up passing through Vale's territory, right, there's a lot of infrastructure that gets built up around that. And so pretty regularly you have towns and villages going through this territory, with the largest one being directly in the center, east to west, where, right, essentially, like, it gets the most traffic. In terms of plants and animals, nothing super unexpected. There's a lot of small to medium game. There's not, or fauna. There's not anything like, there's no like massive monstrous creatures, anything like that. It's pretty tame. That's why, right when you were doing the quests for the royal family, you actually had to adventure back into Canic territory in order to find a lot of the vermin that you needed to extinguish. All the giant scorpions were in the desert; they weren't in.
No, that's because they're already cleared by other adventurers, I guess.
Yeah, well, and the territory itself just isn't conducive to like monstrosities and monstrous creatures.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds like this one. Yeah, so if we want to get to Stella's, which is the big metropolitan area, the beach area, then we could just go down through Vale's territory, get to know the whole route and like all the trade and stuff that's happening through there, and then get to the beach.
Yeah, I think
And
that the
promote
largest
Kobolds.
metropolitan area is going to be on the south side of Stella's territory.
Excellent.
So, is that where the party wants to go? Is that where you're thinking about heading next? You're going to continue along the Adventurers Guild route, go to a bigger city with a bigger Adventurers Guild, and rank up again?
Yep, all while promoting the Kobolds and Canes.
The Kobolds and
yep.
Canes.
Yeah, we're still
Did-
going to be called the Raising Canes, right?
The Raising Canes. Did you want to stop by Kinko's at all to develop some marketing materials?
Marketing materials.
Yeah, well, I mean, we just talked about the Zune iPod thing, right? Like, if you want to make a social splash, if you want the whole world
That's true.
to start accepting you and kobolds as actual beings rather than just pests, you're probably going to have to take an active hand.
Yeah. And maybe give the Zoom the success it needed and deserved.
Yeah, let's rewrite history, y'all.
New mission. Get rid of iPad.
Yeah.
iPod.
Yeah. All of a sudden, I'm less worried about the public perception of kobolds and more worried about the public perception of Zunes.
Even though there's only
It's very
one in
good
existence.
character for you.
Yeah.
But that's right. We could
Uh,
have the Kinkus just like mass produce some Zooms for us.
All right, let's go to the big city. Let's find some adventures. We are adventurers.
Except for-
We are adventurers who are, let's say, dragon curious. We'll find some more dragon. So the big city is in a different territory anyway, right? So we'll get to experience some different culture there too.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if
All
you're if you want to get to the big Stellic metropolis, you're going to have to go through Vale's territory to get there. The safest way to do it is probably to go back to the Rural family and then kind of have like a departure party from there heading east on your pilgrimage into Stella's beach.
Could we have so for means of transportation?
Yeah.
Since we're not like in a rush to get there or anything. We don't really need to ride Rumble or Yipyar there, but we could have like a carriage made. I figure the Rural family would have some mean for this. To have a carriage built for Rumble that he could pull for us.
You're going to ask
Are you
Rumble to
gonna ask
pull a
him?
carriage for you?
Yeah. I mean, he's smart, but he's still a bullet. It's not like this is offensive or anything. Well, let's see.
You ask him and let us know how that goes.
Okay.
I can
I
see
mean,
like
he's
all of you are like
wise.
you're talking about it behind his back, right? And all of you are
Oh.
scared like what if we offend him, right? Like what if
He has his Zoom on. He's not even listening.
That's true. Even if he was here, he wouldn't be listening to us.
Yeah, he just says yes, then all of a sudden you put a harness on him, and it's like, what the heck?
Yeah, I'm actually not 100% sure how Rumble would react to that, right? Imagine like you've been sentient for about a week and all of a sudden all these people who are your friends come up to you and like, "Hey, like do you want to be a pack animal for us?"
Wait, I'm not gonna phrase it that way.
I mean, we should just say it's a tradition that have we ascertained if he remembers?
So he's got like a lot of like emotional memories right? He remembers some events, especially high emotional, maybe particularly intimate events that happened. And then like he has strong memories of like just again emotion, right? No like intellectual processing, but emotional memory of like each of your sense and the way that you've treated him, which is
When he's
why
been
he was able to
scared.
kind of been able to like bond with you so strongly so quickly after being awakened, is because a lot of that emotional foundation and shared experience already exists. He's only just now though gained the capability to like intellectually process the events. So
All right. So because the real question behind the question was, can we just convince him that we always do it this way? That the biggest one just carries the thingy. It's not.
And it's not even a lie. We do that. Like,
You do
Yip-Yar,
do
It's kind of
please.
true. Yeah. Yip-Yar has carried us many times.
Yip-Yar's
And
carried you many
Biscuit
times.
carries me all the time,
Biscuit
too.
carries AO all the time. You could probably convince him to do it if like, because it's never really been just one of you, but if you did like take turns pulling the cart, then he would probably be more keen on it. But if you were like, hey, like we just kind of expect you to pull our cart all the way to like, because by carriage this is gonna be like a 4 or 5 day journey.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I'm kind of hoping they like a gift, something he would like and enjoy. Like, hey, we made a carriage for you, and you can carry this around. And it's like a little toy for you, and we get to ride it. It's
So are you gonna
exercise
go
for
with?
him.
Are you gonna go with the like, hey, you're our child. This is the way that you pay rent, is by pulling
Pay
the cart
rent.
for us?
No, it's like we bought you a bike. Here, you can ride your bike, and it so happens that we can all fit on this bike.
And you're the only one who has to move it.
Pedal.
Well, he's the only one big enough to. We're all tiny.
You are each tiny.
I mean, I can help, and I was
You-
already planning on doing that. So
I mean, you could. You also, right? Like, not only do you have some money, you've got Bitcane, you've got the Shadow Points, you've got Adventure Bits, you have connections
It's almost
to the
too
Ruel
complicated.
family.
All the different currencies we have.
It's almost like you could just get pack animals. Like if you really
Yeah.
wanted to, I'm pretty sure you could even get pack animals that would pull Rumble along.
I see, but then we
Yeah.
have to get a big enough carriage for Rumble.
Now this
I
is getting
got one, and then-
complicated.
I got one, and then Rumble ate it.
Well, and you guys haven't spent any time sprucing up the pocket vault, which is where you have like Rumble spent a lot of time in there, and it was essentially
That's
just like a
right.
really big dark room. He probably doesn't have great memories of that, but
Yeah, you're
if-
right. Okay, now that should take priority. We're gonna make a nice room for Rumble in there.
yeah, right.
At
Like
least some
if
lights.
you could just get a normal carriage and have him be in the pocket vault, and then like if he wants to come out and walk beside the carriage, that's also totally cool. You guys if you were really poor and had no other options, I would probably be more encouraging of this idea of just strapping a harness to Rumble. But like, you have options.
We're
Right.
better than this.
You're better than this. You're not in a state where you're like, oh man, the only way we're getting from here to there is if we all strap onto this boulette and have him carry us the entire way.
I mean, for 8
Alright.
hours a day, I can shapeshift into something else. So
You could can't you shapeshift into a giant snail?
yeah, I
Yes.
did that early on.
I just
Yeah,
think
Why
it
would
would
we
be
want
really
to travel on a giant snail?
because of how slowly it would go. I think that would be
What
hilarious.
is the irony?
He's
It
like,
would take,
guys,
Yeah, it
like,
was a-
a month.
It was a mammoth-sized snail.
I love the
Okay,
idea
scrap the carriage.
that AO and Old Dennis are still a little bit in the honeymoon phase, but y'all are like riding really close to each other on top of this giant snail, and like they're trying to get some private time on their little corner of the shell, but like you're all just right there.
We're a very close party.
Is Nana Sarah coming with us?
AO, do you want your wife to come with you?
Like, Be kind of weird if they don't, right? If she doesn't, wouldn't it?
Well, I mean, we need someone to
old.
stay here and look after things.
That's what butlers are for, my dear.
Oh yeah, but butlers don't give the orders. You guys just do the things. Who's gonna give you the orders?
The head butler?
You're not even the head butler. What are you talking to me?
I was trying to do your wife's voice.
Yeah, I was like, I thought it was
Yeah.
Nana Sarah's voice.
Sorry, it's not as raspy as it usually is.
I'm so sorry.
There you are. Honey, do you want to come with us on this trip? We're going pretty far to maybe do some dangerous and stupid things, but with positive results for the world.
I have not been to Stellantis in forever. I would love to go.
Oh, you've been there before.
Oh, absolutely. I was invited by King Prim himself. I dined at his table.
Who?
King Prim.
Sounds important. Is he like the king of Stella's territory?
He
Stellantis?
was. Back in my prime, I was quite the fetching figure.
Oh, you still are. You're still
70
fine.
years ago. Oh, this is why I love you.
So and like, is his kid the ruler now, or someone else? But what happened there?
Probably his great grandchild.
Okay, she's coming.
Yeah, seems like she'll be a really useful asset.
Maybe she can try and seduce the current king.
What?
You know, haven't you ever wanted to, sleep with somebody who, like, seduced your grandfather? That seems like
Yeah.
it'd be right up your alley, Ao.
Now that you mention it.
In Stellic territory, nay, the whole land. Yeah, so she has her butlers arrange a whole travel party. The Ruel family sometimes sends caravans to Stellantis anyways. It's like, a form of like maintaining relations, and it is a really big journey because it's all the way on the other side of Vale's territory. But the Ruel family actually has a sending off party for you, where once old Nana Sarah realized that's where you wanted to go, she kind of kicked things into motion, and they made a whole festival out of it, right? So a bunch of people, gave you some gifts. But then a bunch of people, you're also basically escorting a huge trade caravan where a bunch of people are sending things to sell, and they've given you these small gifts as, essentially a token to say, hey, please, actually watch over the stuff and make sure it sells when you get there. You also get a letter of introduction from the head of the local chapter of the Adventurers Guild, as well as old Nana Sarah herself just, writes a letter saying, this is my husband, treat him good, or something like that. She's very direct.
And she's coming. So
she's coming. Yeah, and she made sure that you, Ao, and she had your own private wagon.
Nice.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think the rest of the party gets to share a wagon. You do each have your own bed in it. And then, yeah, the expectation is that Rumble either sleeps in the pocket vault or in the shadow cage, both of which would hold him. And yeah, and then you guys, I'm hoping, spend some Canic points to spruce up the pocket vault so it's like an actual room for him rather than just like a dank, dark cellar.
Yeah, for sure.
Every time I see your name, the Night 257, I love that there's a train. That's
Yeah,
still
the
one of the
hype
best
train
things.
thing?
Yeah, it's the coolest thing that's ever happened on the channel. that we had a hype train, that's like a thing that actually happened. I think that christened us as a
Oh.
channel.
You got to keep the icon? I thought the icon was only going to be there during the hype train.
No.
That's cool.
It's
No, I got the conductor.
He's got the badge forever.
Nice.
I'm actually surprised that you don't have one. Was it just because he? Oh, I think it's because he was the last one to like contribute to it or something like that. Or I don't know. It said on the hype train thing how you get it.
Yeah, I remember having the icon for a little bit, but didn't get to keep it.
Yeah, so there's a whole festival. You're now escorting an entire trade caravan. Was there anyone that you wanted to talk to or anything in particular that you wanted to prepare for the trip?
I'm definitely gonna get together my the stuff I used to sell.
Your shop. You're bringing it back.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to bring it back.
That's awesome.
But it's still the crappy gear that I had from the beginning.
That's actually amazing.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of sprucing up the pocket vault.
I do as well.
Are you putting a statue of yourself in it?
Yes. I'll just get another tree in there that Rumble can carve, and then I can do the fine details of again.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so that's how we'll wrap up the session then. Everybody describe one thing that they're doing to spruce up the pocket vault to make it like a good little home, cozy little home for Rumble.
Tree carving.
Pocket vault for Rumble's Journey West. Okay, hold on. American Story? What's the mouse? Feifel
Goes west.
Feifel Goes West?
I think so.
That's the sequel though, right? Isn't that the sequel?
Probably.
Did he go east first?
No, I think the first one's just called like An American Story or something like that. Feifel Goes
Fievel,
West.
an American Tale.
An American Tale, Feifel Goes West. Wow.
Yeah, so the first one was from 1986, and it's Fievel, an American Tale. And then the sequel is Fievel Goes West.
An American Tale. Oh yeah, there it is. Fievel, An American Tale. Interesting. Wow, I have not thought about that movie in a long time.
Same.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about it ever.
You're welcome. We bring you new experiences here at the Borudation. All right, so Zarya brings in a massive tree and once again works with Rumble to craft it into a magnificent. All right, and go ahead and make a with this sleight of hand or performance check, some sort of artistry check, Zarya, to see how magnificent this Zarya
I don't know if
statue
it matters,
is.
but I'm doing sleight of hand.
Okay.
I got a 1 on the dice, but it's +6, so I got a 7.
Ooh.
Oh, the rules of Nat 1s are the rules of Nat 1s, Zarya.
I know.
That's
but
amazing.
I have a +6.
That is, I mean, it is the most spectacular failure that I think could have ever have happened. Like,
He
it
just
is.
eats the whole tree.
No, he doesn't eat the whole tree. Like, you guys do make it, like, you keep working on it, and it's that situation where, like, imagine you're getting a haircut, right? You've had long, luscious hair your entire life, and you're like, all right, I just want to cut a little bit off. But then, like, you miss the cut a little bit, and then it's uneven, and you can't, like, just magically make more hair appear. So you're like, okay, I got to cut a little bit more off, right? But then it's still uneven. You didn't fix it. And so and then you end up with like a pixie cut, which is way less hair than you wanted, and but like it's all gone. And so like at one point it was like almost really Zarya like, right? Inspired by the Zarya statue in Ao's room. And then you're like, oh no, this feature is wrong. And then you kept working on it, but every time you kept working on it, you just kept making it a little bit worse. And so now everybody who sees it, like, they can tell
No eyebrows.
it looks like Zarya, but it also haunts your nightmares, right?
I will no longer go in the pocket vault.
It's funny you brought up the haircut thing because I just got one today, and I felt like that's kind of what the barber was doing. Because he kept on making up more and more, and I'm like, why? Why are you doing that? My beard was long. Now it's very short. Like, what are you doing?
This is a statue of Zarya. Wow. Okay. This statue of Zarya is one to haunt the nightmares of little children. There we go. Beautiful. All right. Fix it. What are you doing?
This is to decorate the pocket vault.
To decorate the pocket vault so it can be Rumble's nice little travel home.
I would like to do like a heavy metal poster.
Ooh.
Because he's listening to a lot of music, so I figure he probably likes to rock out anyway. So yeah, that's.
All right. Do you just want just one poster, or do you want to make like a heavy metal corner?
Oh yeah, if I can do more than one, for sure I want to do that.
Of the pocket vault. All right. Describe to me. Well, actually, go ahead and first roll your. I guess we'll call this a design check. We'll let you use your intelligence modifier for this. So just go ahead and do a straight up intelligence check.
Okay, give me a second. My browser crashed since my last roll.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what it is on the dice. It's a
Perfect.
12 on the dice.
You've got a 14, so it's plus 2.
Okay. So that's it. I don't need
Yep.
to. Okay. All right. So it's so that's what it is.
14.
So 14. Yeah.
Nice. Much better than a 1 in terms of getting what you want out of this. So describe to me all the different elements that you think make up a heavy metal corner of a room.
I mean, I think it's just posters. It doesn't have to be like a satanic shrine or anything.
Is there like a beanbag chair? Is there a drum set? Does he have a bass with an amp?
I think he's just a fan. Like he just listens. So I'm just going like a lava lamp, some posters, you got a maybe like old like Iron Maiden posters, some Ozzy. Yeah.
All right. If you had to pick one decoration to stand out amongst all the others, what would it be?
It would be a 1980s style denim jacket where the back is painted exactly like an Iron Maiden album cover.
A 1980s denim jacket.
I'll even choose one for you.
Beautiful. Yeah, I'll get the image in here. If you send it to me over Discord. Highlight is a 1980s denim jacket, exactly like an Iron Maiden album cover.
Yeah.
Beautiful. All right. When you get the image, let me know, and we'll get it in there. Zarya. Oh, Zarya already went. Ao.
A bed. Or a rumble bed.
Rumble makes a rumble bed. All right. Is this a water bed? Is it a mattress? Is it a box spring? Is it memory foam? What do we got?
What would be best for a bullet?
Well, I need you to first
water bed?
roll a d20.
Oh.
You
Is
may
this a
not have
wisdom
thought to
check?
yourself. Yeah, this is a wisdom check. That's a really good, because it's about how discerning you are about what kind of bed Rumble needs, right?
This is true. So -1. That's a 16 total.
Oh, that's really good.
My poor one.
Your one was beautiful. I loved it.
It
Around
left a mark.
the typical
And we
needs
have a
of a
monster statue.
Left
boulette.
many marks.
And AO even consulted Rumble in its creation. Though Rumble had some odd ideas, they put something together that he loves. Beautiful.
And I go, donate this one, buddy.
Oh, don't eat this one, buddy. Okay. All right, Yipyar, your time has come.
I think now that they've made the bed, I'm gonna encase the bed. Give him that enclosure because he likes to burrow and stuff, and so make it
Mm.
kind of like a cave almost, using stone shape and getting stone hauled in there.
Surround. Okay. And encase the bed as a room unto itself. All right. Go ahead and roll. What your spellcasting modifier is wisdom, so that probably makes the
Yes.
most sense. And since you're using a spell to cast it, you can add your proficiency modifier.
Cool. With all of that, it's a 17.
17. All right. So, describe to me what's more of a focus for you, the interior or the exterior of this room?
I guess the exterior. The inside can be kind of smooth, but the exterior, I want it to look like a cave. But when he goes into it, I want it to look nice.
A
If
cave
that makes sense.
full of natural jagged rockiness. The interior is smoothed out and calming. Beautiful. And with that, I'm still waiting on that picture from Inno. You got anything yet?
I'm having trouble deciding, to be honest. Like, they're not as good as I remembered them. They were a lot cooler when I was a kid. I was actually alive. When
Have you tried
when these were out.
have you tried rolling a die?
That's what I should do. Yeah, I have like a list here, so I'll just roll based on this. Oh wait. Oh, sorry. There's another page to this. Oh yeah. This, um. Somewhere in time. Yeah.
Beautiful.
I'm having computer issues.
I'm sorry
It's
to hear that.
starting. Yeah. Yeah. Discord's restarting and updating. Can somebody drop in Iron Maiden somewhere in time? Album cover.
Iron Maiden somewhere in time album cover?
Yeah.
There's like a more colorful version of it. Can you see these on the stream? There's 6
I see
different.
five hole.
My freaking computer is so messed up. It is pretty old.
Is it supposed to be a little bit more color? Oh, this is like cyberpunky.
Yeah. Cyberpunk, definitely.
Okay, there's one that's like way more colorful, and then one that's like way darker.
I mean, let's do the colorful one, right?
Colorful one?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, I'm gonna put a link to it in the. I just don't want to. Oh, here we go. Boo, boo, boo. Boom. So, okay, so it's a denim jacket that has this on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Got it. Image below. Okay. Is it signed by anyone, like the Kobold version of Iron Maiden, or?
No, I think it was just done by a Kinku. Maybe signed by a Kinku.
Also, if they went to the Kinkus before leaving, I purposely did not enter the forest. I stayed outside. Or the jungle, I mean. Hey, you're adding words there, okay? If I knew that she was in trouble, I would go in there. But I don't think she's in trouble. I guess I could ask the wind, but
I can't. Oh, I can't hear
oh,
Brian.
Brian, you're no longer speaking. I mean, you're speaking, but we ain't heard nothing.
Okay, it's not just me.
Yeah, I thought it was just me for a second. It timed out on us. It knew that we end at 10:30.
That's funny.
It's the fancy mic. New technology.
Why? Oh, could you hear me now?
Oh, yep.
There
Yes.
you go.
Okay. That was annoying. Thank you, microphone. But and now I need to turn this gain control down. Okay. We got there eventually. Technical snafus, part of the Boru Nation. It's just the way life rolls, right? Thank you. Yeah, you left her in a cage. So did you hear me rant about that?
No.
I was
saw you
like,
typing.
you literally left her in a cage.
Did we leave in a cage?
She was in a cage when you left.
She
He
wanted
didn't
to
wanna
be in the
leave.
cage.
Yeah.
She asked to be left in the cage.
That
I
she's still in a
respect her
cage.
wishes. So? As far as I know, that's where she wants to be.
But okay, so then I brought up this idea of a motif where every time you turn an animal, I have some animal come fall in love with you, which I think would be really funny if it kept happening.
We did specify that all my shapeshifting I think looks menacing, but is actually in fact cute.
But is
So that
actually
kinda makes
adorable.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah, that is Kobold campaign canon. All right, well, that is where we're going to end the session for the day. Next week we will do the travel. I'll have a couple of things set up for you, a couple of events for next week. Some RP encounters. You're also going to be stopping in to one of the major trade hubs in Vale's territory next week, so be prepared for that. The YouTube clips from tonight's session will start going live tomorrow. I'm going to make sure that there's one a day for the next couple days. There will be one for Thursday, one for Friday, probably one for Monday. And if we have a lot of good moments from today, then there will be one on Tuesday as well. Oh, and then for everyone in voice chat, and I should have mentioned this at the beginning of the session, but if you say the words "clip that," any of you who have voice access, right? Anyone who's in Discord with me, then the clip finder will automatically find and mark those moments for me.
That's pretty cool.
Which is
That is very
really cool. So when something cool happens, like Zarya rolling a natural 1 and creating a statue of herself in somebody else's room. You say the words clip that. And then it happens. So, with that, everybody have a wonderful, wonderful night. Thank you so much for coming to the stream, and we'll